All right, so we're here at the Chiropractic Wealth Summit. We're with Dr. Joe. We're going through the 9 wealth strategies. These are the strategies I use to retire at age 33. So again, let's walk through one at a time. And again, if you do these strategies, you'll see how quickly your profit and wealth increases, and therefore your freedom, because that's what the Chiropractic Wealth Summit's about. It's about having a highly profitable practice that creates wealth that gives you freedom. That's what we do. So let's start with one at a time. Let's walk through, and let's do a checklist with Dr. Joe. So for the first profit center, the first place is investing in yourself to increase your profitability. That's the first, fastest, easy, the money to make. And there's 4 profit centers in your practice. One is new business, patient retention, the fees and overhead. Now, Joe did a good job. You've maximized all those out. When you first started with me, you were seeing 120 a week or?
120 on average.
120, and you were working 60 hours a week, if I remember. Or
yeah.
You were working hard for 9 years, I think.
Yes.
Okay. And so he was getting burnt out and all that stuff. Okay, so you jump in. We took you up real quick to over 200,
yeah,
something, 250?
250 plus.
250. Okay, so through these strategies, so we picked up patient retention skill, we picked up new patients marketing skill. Okay, all right, so we got a highly profitable practice, check. Let's go to the next one. The next strategy is to buy your own home, because that's called forced equity. You're going to make the payments anyway, you might as well have the equity going into your pocket as opposed to somebody else's. Now, you've done that, right? Yeah. Okay, good. Next one is the office. Again, you're cutting a check for your office. So if you do that for 10, 20, 30 years, that could be up to $500,000 that you didn't get because you didn't own your office. Or if you buy your own office, that goes in your pocket. Now, what we do is we show how to do owner financing for your own office. We go into all the great details about this. So that hasn't happened yet, right?
No, I have somebody looking, actively
Oh, okay,
looking,
good.
But it's been difficult because I've knocked on doors in
Okay.
California.
So you're in the process of doing this?
Yes.
Okay, so when we explained this, it made sense to you, right?
Yeah.
So in other words, he's taken all these steps. Okay, IRA, you investing with your IRA?
Yes.
Okay, good, check. And then he went to the associate doctor. So we maximized this profit. Now we want to start leveraging time and money. Okay, so we went to the first associate doctor, and then you went up to what, 300 visits a week, something like that?
Yeah.
About 300? Okay. Things are going good. Wife doesn't have to work anymore.
Right.
Stays home raising the kids.
Yes.
You started working part-time.
Yeah.
Okay. Life's looking pretty good, right? At that, okay.
Not bad.
So first associate doctor. Let's come over here. Then the next strategy, the 6th strategy is real estate. Start leveraging your money into real estate, because remember, that's what 70% of the millionaires become millionaires is by leveraging their money and time. The number 1 category is real estate, 70%. So have we started with any real estate investments yet?
No, I put it out there. I just wasn't.
So haven't put the system in place yet?
I tried to, and I didn't follow through.
Okay, so it's not in place yet. So
it's
that still needs to be picked up, right?
Yeah.
But you can see how important this is.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Now we covered the tax strategies. Remember
That
we
I
covered?
learned a lot today.
Right. And so how many of the tax strategies have you started employing?
Well, I have some things in place, like, the home office, the wife, and working, and the kids as well. But a lot of things that you talked about today, I'm going to put
So
in
even
place.
more,
Now
okay.
it's- yeah,
So you
it's
already
more
you already started putting some of them in place, but now even more.
even more. Now.
Okay. So we're on our way. And by the way, look at the money this can create. So if we talk about a practice, now he maximized his self out, but what a lot of chiropractors do is they never maximize their self out in their practice. They might see like 100 visits a week, and the average chiropractor can typically see like 200 visits a week. So that's an extra 100 visits of potential income chiropractors lose, and they don't understand it. Now, that's not happened with Joe. What actually did happen your first 9 years, you didn't maximize yourself out in the first 9 years, right?
No.
So 120, so let's say 120 from 200 is 80 visits a week at $50 a visit. That's 4,500, right, a week?
Mm-hmm.
So round it to 4, 52 weeks in a year, 4 times 5 is 200. So 200,000 a year, right? 9 years, 2 times 9 is 18. So that's $1.8 million of revenue that he didn't make his first 9 years that he's made since he's joined me. He's making that money from 120 plus since he's joined me. So he's not losing that money anymore. Home, good. Office. So can you see how every month you're making somebody else rich?
Yes.
You're making somebody else rich, okay? And you got to make the payment. That's what's so important about this is you've got to cut that check for your home and your office. It's called forced equity. It's an easy way to start making money, especially if you have an office that has 2 other renters involved, 1 or 2 other renters involved, and we can go into detail how to do that. IRA is good, associate doctor, and remember, if you have an associate doctor seeing 80 visits a week at a $50 per visit, if you split it 50-50, that's $100,000 a year. You had no associate doctor your first 9 years, right?
No.
So first 9 years, if that's $100,000 a year, 9 years, that's $900,000 that he did not make his first year. This is how fast this money adds up. So his first 9 years is $900,000 from one associate doctor seeing 80 visits a week he didn't get and not maximizing his time in his office with an extra 80 visits. That ended up being 1.9 million, 1.9 and 9. You're at $2.7 million in 9 years. This is how fast this money adds up. Or in most cases, when it's not done, you don't get the money. You don't make the money. Now, fortunately for Dr. Joe, this is happening now, right?
Yes.
How many visits a week does your associate see?
Well, he sees all my PI as well, so.
Just visit. Forget just visits.
Out of 100.
100, okay. So it fits that category. And by the way, we forgot to say, Joe opened a second office. And that second office is seeing how many visits a week?
120 visits.
120 visits a week. So he's replicating his time again. So he's maximizing out his money here. See, this money that he did lose, this 2.8 million, he's not going to lose that 2.8 million in the next year. He's actually making it now. Get on board with the real estate. He's starting to save with the tax strategies. That comes in even more. And then we go into asset protection. Have you started using?
Yes.
So you started using our asset protection and trust things, okay. And then the number 9 strategy is charity. Charity does 3 big things. Number 1, we use charity to help promote your business. We tie it to your business to help grow your business, number 1. Number 2 is it makes you feel good. It makes you feel good to help people. Number 3 is you're actually helping a cause. So it does 3 really good things. That's a very important part of financial freedom is charity. Okay? So Joe's looking pretty good. That wheel, he's turned around his financial asset strategy. So can you see before joining, where was his trend line? How much money was being lost easily? Over $2 million in 9 years that he was there anyway. He was there anyway. Well, now he's not. Now he's capturing all that money and more. He works part-time, has a full-time associate, has a second office, buying real estate, and I don't know, maybe there's other stuff going on I don't know about, relative to there's anything else I don't know about that. You're pretty much
doing charity and stuff. We are doing charity on our promos in November and
right,
December.
Right.
I mean, we haven't done it where we tie it
Okay.
into something that we're constantly.
So out of all of these strategies, which one are you putting most of your focus right now?
Well, I'm going to start putting more of my focus on that.
Okay.
more than
And we know.
anything. And we're going to add another associate.
Okay. What's your timeline for another associate?
Well, I'm hoping in the next few weeks.
Okay. So see, 3rd associate doctor. Remember, one associate doctor seeing only 80 visits a week at $50 per visit. If you split it 50-50, that's a little over $100,000 a year. That's an associate doctor making $100,000 a year. And remember, what kind of profit is that? That's 97% profit from that associate doctor. Why? You've already paid the overhead. You've already paid all the overhead expenses, space, labor, equipment. Those are your 3 big expenses. You're not going to have to go hire more staff, more space, more equipment. You should already pretty much have those. Okay? So That's 300,000. His third associate. That's easily $300,000 a year. He didn't do that the first year. Well, guess what happens with 3 associate doctors in the next 9 years as $100,000, $300,000 a year. 3 times 9 is what? 3 times 9 is $2.7 million. And we're not even talking about all the strategies. And then guess what happens when he starts leveraging some of that money? 5 to 1, 10 to 1 into real estate. That's how I retired at age 33. These are the 9 systems. He's well on his way. Net worth, income, productivity. And how much easier is it now that you know what you're doing?
Yeah, you work less.
Huh?
You definitely work less.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember Joe telling me he had to stop doing his personal injury marketing. You remember telling me that? Because it was working too well. He didn't have enough associate doctors to process the patients. That's how life should be as a chiropractor. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.